So hello, good morning, and I hope that you can hear us a little bit. So I'm very excited to have this discussion about open finance, which I truly believe that will have a big impact on the financial sector in the coming years. It has open finance, it's about the sharing of financial data in all kinds of financial products, and that with third-party service providers. So we're going to have a talk about the concept of open finance. We're going to discuss about the regulatory perspectives around that. We're going to talk about use cases, and we're also going to look forward about the next steps in open finance. So in Luxembourg, we have a very diversified financial center, and it's going to be interesting to see how that applies to our international financial center here in Luxembourg. So I'm very pleased to welcome my three special leaders who are going to speak about their experience with a very diversified actual perspective because they come from different backgrounds. So first of all, I have Kramer. He's the head of business at Spuerkeess. Spuerkeess is the largest universal bank in Luxembourg, and he's going to share his views about how a traditional bank can actually develop open finance. Then we have Geoffrey Dezoppy. He's the managing director of Avaloq, Luxembourg, and he's going to share his views as a financial technology leader with Avaloq developing many kind of services also in the context of open finance. And then we have Ashton. He's the global head of HSBC Luxembourg Global Payment Solutions. Coming from a very international player, let's say, it's going to be interesting to see how we can integrate open finance in a bank like yours. So thank you very much for joining, and it's really a pleasure. So maybe the first question I would like to ask you, it's really on the concept of open finance, because you have very different perspectives. So it would be interesting to have from each of your organizations, how do you see open finance? Nick, maybe we're starting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. From our perspective, we see it as a fantastic opportunity, actually, because what it enables us to do is allow our services to be consumable via APIs, and especially using the open banking APIs to allow fintechs, treasury management systems, and other sort of providers into that ecosystem means that we can actually help our clients get a really best-in-class solution using what the fintech does best with our network. So for us, it's really about customers. And if we can bring sort of the best of both worlds to our clients in a standardized way, it really makes it a lot easier for us to offer services in a way that we haven't been able to do before. So we see it as a really exciting opportunity.
That's great. Maybe from you, Roger, as a more Luxembourgish bank, how do you see that?
Yeah, I think the same things that Ashton just said. I think we must forget that open finance is an evolution of open banking. So the first step has already been done. We are making account aggregation. We will do account aggregation with this too. But now we have much more data that we can use, that the banks can use, and that can be used by third parties. So I think normally that must bring a better customer service, because we can really make products just on the customer, be really customer centric. And I think we hope that the open finance will bring a lot more innovation than open banking brought it, because open banking, everybody thought about. I think 5 years ago I was sitting something like here too and talk about open banking, and we must say really nothing happened. It was a non-event, I think, nearly everywhere. But I really hope that, and I think so, that open finance will be a real event. Maybe not immediately, but in I would say in 3 to 5 years, I think the financial market will change completely with the open finance. So it brings more competition, but I think there's a very important point that will make that banks can be the big winner of the open finance regulation that will come, and that's the trust, because customer will share their data. They will share their data completely, not just their payment account. So who do you trust normally more than your bank to really take care of your data, to make all the security systems in place because we have so big regulation that other companies don't have. So I think this aspect is very important. GDPR aspect, so all the data security that you have to put in place, I think customers will trust more banks than other fintechs and so on. So I think that we will be, if we are doing a good job, the big winner of the open finance.
So that's very positive input. Let's hear now from Geoffrey, because you have a completely different perspective on the banking side. We see there are opportunities, challenges. How do you see that you can cooperate in that perspective?
Yes, so for us, the perspective is more on harmonization. And obviously, as Nick mentioned, APIs, I don't think that works, but check. Anyway, so because we see financial institutions struggling a little bit. Can you hear me now? Yeah, thank you. So I'll start over. So we often see financial institutions struggle with different systems, and all we can do with the APIs is to harmonize all the different solutions that are out there. So to have it more standardized and for the banks to have a single platform. We have some Avaloq clients and users in the room. We also have some fintech partners. So I'm sure some of you can relate to that. And with all of this, it creates a more interconnected and stronger financial ecosystem. So the bottom line is for the clients to have a better experience. So as Nick said, the end focus of all of this is to please the customers. So at Avaloq, we are a core banking provider. We want to ensure that the data is consistently captured and recorded across front, middle, and back office, and that, for example, the latest example I can think of is instant payments. So the bank will choose an instant payment provider. I won't give names, but we are completely agnostic. So any provider that is chosen will make sure it works and it's all harmonized with the other systems that the bank might be using. So to be flexible and to be scalable, because if you invent something and then it's just stuck there, there's really not much point. So at Avaloq, we also partner with a lot of fintechs, and we have maybe one use case to start with, but then we can roll it out to our entire community. So that's really how we make the most out of open finance. And also it enables more traditional banks, I would say, to have access to the latest tech and to be able to become more modern thanks to all the APIs that we can put at their disposal. So my message is that everybody wins in this.
That's great. That's positive, but it's not the end yet. So that would be a nice word for the end. But I get your point on interoperability, because that's really a critical point in the data sharing. Well, I know that it's not your favorite topic, but regulation is also key in this context, because we're going to have a regulation that's under proposal currently at the European Commission. It's called the Financial Data Access, so FIDA, which will bring much further the concept of open finance. So I would like to have a volunteer here that would at least share a little bit of your insights about how this regulation actually is going to push the market.
I was design volunteer. You hear me? Yes? Okay. So what is FIDA? FIDA is the framework that will put the open banking, open finance in place. I think the main changes to spring with FIDA is first the consumer, they can share all the data, not only payment accounts, but I said all the data, financial data, not only bank data, but they can insurance data, pensions data, and so on. They can allow to share this, to allow the owner of the data to share it with third parties. And this for retail and for corporates, because let's say PSD2 is for corporates too, but it's applied nowhere for the moment. Nobody is working in corporate account aggregation. I think the main differences between FIDA and PSD2 is that the owner of the data, he can monetize now the data. So if he's selling the data or something is picking data on the owner, we can ask money for it. And the second big difference is that the third party who took the data, they can just read it. They cannot make transactions with it. I think that's a huge difference because to PSD2 you can be payment initiator, and in FIDA you cannot do the same operations with the data that you will get. The second big difference is that the owner of the data must give the opportunity to the consumer, the end customer, to see who get his data, when they get the data, and he can agree with that, he can not agree with that. So you have to produce a dashboard to the end customer who can make a click in or a click out to the sharing of the data. And you have to tell them who exceeded the data, access to the data that we are as bank, as owner, are sharing. Okay, everybody agrees on that. Normally the FIDA would be at the start of huge innovation that would come in this sector. It will bring more competition, and we hope more partnerships from bank institutions with fintechs. Okay, but like I said before, I think that's for the future. That will not be immediately.
Yeah, we don't have a date yet for the implementation of the FIDA, but we're expecting, we'll see in the coming months how it goes. Maybe 2026 or 27, let's see how it goes. So you mentioned that FIDA is also going to bring an opportunity to develop new collaborations. And I think what would be very interesting also for the audience today is to hear some of the concrete examples that you may have in terms of use cases that you can apply that really bring that personalization to the, using the data and bringing that value added to the clients. So maybe Nick, if you would like to start.
Yeah, thank you. So we've got clients that are live today in Luxembourg working with us. So these are our wholesale or corporate banking clients that are actually using the open banking APIs to connect with HSBC, so they can operate their bank accounts in Luxembourg and globally via the open banking API. I think, Geoffrey, you made a really good point that what we see really driving this is instant payments, because from a client point of view, once you actually get a truly instant payment 24/7 infrastructure, then it becomes important to be able to consume the bank information, your bank statements, your full account information via the API. When you're in a sort of SEPA D+1 type of world, maybe it's not so important that you can ping an API and get up-to-date account information. But once you move into a fully 24/7 instant payment world, it's very, very different. And the advantage that the open banking API brings is just that harmonization, that standardization. So and the fact that we can embed it into other people's platforms as well. But we'll talk a little bit about that later on, about banking as a service. So for us, just the use case is there already. This isn't a sort of philosophical or future looking. We've got customers today that want to use and are using the open banking API to send us payment information, send us payment initiation requests, and consuming the account information. And it just makes that integration and onboarding journey so much easier for customers, and for us to be able to work with various providers in the market in a harmonized way as well, to make our services more easily consumable for more people.
So going much further with the payment data and so on. So maybe Roger or Geoffrey, what were your perspective on the use cases?
I will bring at least one what I find not so boring use case than banking use case. Imagine that you have Meeting or Tinder, and they have access to financial data, and you can choose your profile on the financial behavior, on the financial information that you can find on the partner. everything is possible. So as I said, as soon as you have behavioral data of customers, there's no more limit to the imagination what you can do with that. I think you can find a lot of funny use cases on financial behavior. But more seriously, I think there will be for sure very specific advisory I think apps that will come that will help people to plan their retirement, their pensions. I can imagine something that is missing completely today in the market is apps that will help SMEs, small entrepreneurs to manage their finance, to have dashboardings, and so that's a whole subject that for the moment is in Luxembourg you don't find anything. And I think I can imagine why, because there's no, that exists in France and Germany, but there's no scaling up in Luxembourg. So there's no really no big market in Luxembourg. And that's the problem for the moment, I think, with a lot of innovation tools that maybe exist, but in Luxembourg it's very difficult to find a business case because we are so small. So I can have use cases as much as you want. If you want to make a tax declaration, I think you can, if you are in a system that goes and seek every information everywhere in the banks, you have to pre-fill your tax declaration nearly completely when you have a good APIs, and you have the agreement of the customer to go and search the data. So an infinite of use case that can be imagined.
Is Avaloq also looking at mythic profiles?
No. In any case, as Roger says, we have so many examples, but I'll take one, also conscious of time. So my favorite example is our successful crypto solution. Why is it my favorite example? Because it helps us win clients. We are the only core banking system that has the integrated crypto solution. So we win clients thanks to that, and they win clients thanks to what they have. So how did we get there? We partnered with a fintech that was specialized in that field. We had originally one bank in Switzerland that wanted this, and then now that is actually live and ready to be rolled out to other banks, it is part of our standard product offering, and it can easily be integrated across our clients in the Avaloq community. So again, this focus is on joint innovation.
Excellent. Now, if we look a little bit further in the future, we also hear a lot about the concept of banking as a service, in which the banks provide actually their service as a white labeling to other service and third service providers, non-banks, so that they can offer, for example, payments, loans, deposits, and so on. Under their own brand. So that's in the concept of data sharing in data economy. Do you think that banking as a service is actually the next step in the open finance or in the future of finance itself?
Yeah, for HSBC and for my area, for Global Payment Solutions, it's a core part of our strategy going forward. So we've already partnered, for example, with Oracle. So through Oracle NetSuite, Oracle are one of the largest ERP providers. So we've actually embedded HSBC's payment architecture into Oracle NetSuite. So that means for us, all 27,000 existing Oracle customers potentially are able to plug and play into HSBC's payment infrastructure. So for us, it's a way of bringing our services to potentially new customers. We can work with a limited number of players such as Oracle, and actually through them sell our services to their customers. So we see this as a really exciting opportunity. We're spending some money on it, and as I said, it's a way that going forward, especially maybe for some of the smaller clients in what we would term a business banking sector that wouldn't be working with us directly in our wholesale banking, it certainly is a whole new segment of customers that we can make our services available to. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I think the best way to explain embedded finance tomorrow is by an example. Today, if you're going to go to a garage to buy a car, you ask for a credit, you fill in the formula they send it to a credit company. You know which one. You send it to the. This one works? No. That's your fault. You're talking too much. Okay, this one works? Okay, so I start again. So for me, the best way to explain what is embedded finance is by an example. So if you go today in a garage to buy a car, you make a credit, the seller will fill in a formula, send it by internet to a credit institution, you know which one, and normally in 24 hours at least you had an answer and you buy your car. Imagine tomorrow with open finance, you go there, the seller is putting on information on the formula, the formula is going to a bank. You don't know as customer who is behind it. The only thing that you're interested in, can I get a credit, can I buy it? Behind this, that comes to the bank, I would like to have it at the Spuerkeess. We will check, we have the agreement of the customer, we will check information in all the banks that the customer indicates us where he is customer, where he has his accounts. We can make a credit scoring on the behavior of the customer, and we can send immediately an answer to the seller of the bank that the credit is allowed. For sure, we need the acceptance of the customer that we can go and look for the data. He has to tell us where he has his accounts, but I think in this case it's a detail. And we can even finish the onboarding of, if it's a new customer, the onboarding of the customer by the whole KYC process can be done by open banking, by the open banking apps, because we can find the most of the information on the behavioral. We can check if where he works, if what he told us is right, because you just need to put 2 or 3 more questions on the loan request, and you have everything you need to make an onboarding, to have a scoring, to open the credit account, to open the standard payment, the monthly payment. So the customer will even not, the person will even not know that he will have an account or a credit at the Spuerkeess. The only thing that he's interested in is, I can buy my car, and every month I will pay from my account this amount, and where it goes, I don't care. I just want to have my car. I think you see what the open finance brings for the future. That doesn't exist for the moment. So we can, and that's a simple example where everybody will be can be in touch with it. No? So that's what I call the embedded finance. There's one positive point, just one, and for negative, you can easily have more customers. When you have the customer, you can check everything and sell other products. The negative point is you lose direct contact with the customer. If you have embedded finance, what I call on the last mile, and that's something that will happen very often in the next years, you lose the contact with the customer on this last mile, because the customer didn't even know that you are the bank behind it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I think we don't have time to discuss more, but that's a passionate topic, and I think we could continue for a lot more. Let's say I take the word of the end that you mentioned in the beginning. So it's a win-win collaboration. So I hear from the banks there is a lot of opportunities, and at the end it's really for the customer that will benefit from all this data sharing in a real-time economy. So looking very much forward to living that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And then if you want to know more about Avaloq or the joint innovation for the fintech, F02, Finance Village, come and see us.